We find ourselves having experienced a very tumultuous period of time in the United States over the last week, with the tragic and horrific death of George Floyd and the ensuing warranted protests that unfortunately took a negative turn to become riots and looting throughout the country, where businesses were burnt down, landmarks destroyed, and we find ourselves in desperate need of one thing, one word, a word found in our parsha this week on multiple occasions, and that is shalom, peace. Interestingly, on the word v'yasem lecha shalom as part of the Birchas Kohanim, the blessing that Hashem instructs the Kohanim to give to the Jewish people, the Medrash explains as follows. The Medrash says that we're talking about shalom, peace, when we enter, shalom b'yitziyascha, when we exit, and shalom im kol adam, peace with every human being. And so the Ksav Sofer explains, based on the well-known Gemara in Maseches Brachos, the Gemara tells us that if a person has a dream and he dreams of one of three things, that person is destined to experience a sense of shalom, of peace in their lives. If the person dreams of a kettle, or the person dreams of a river, or the person dreams of a bird, they're destined to see a different type of shalom, of peace. And here's the explanation of the Gemara. If a person dreams of a kettle, they are destined to experience shalom bayis, peace in their home. If one dreams of a river, they're destined to see shalom in their state, in their country, in their community. And if one experiences and sees a bird, then they're destined to experience shalom throughout the world. And so just understanding each one, what is it about a kettle that would bring shalom bayis, peace in one's home? Well, if you think about it, a kettle which contains water really separates between water and fire that are opposites. If not for the kettle, the water would extinguish the fire. But with the kettle, the fire and water could make peace between the two of them and ultimately bring about something positive, water being heated, which can then be used by others. And the Ksav Sofer explains this shalom bayis as meaning the kettle, one kettle, where everyone is able to share whatever food is prepared together. And that is shalom bayis, peace in a home. But the second type of shalom is peace that is represented by a river. Because a river contains water, and a river travels throughout a state, throughout a locality, throughout a metropolis, and it brings water to all different types of people. It is the sustenance of life. And that water can be enjoyed by one without having taken away from the other. So one who experiences, who sees that river, is destined to experience shalom. And finally, a bird. A bird represents the shalom b'chol ha'olam, throughout the world. Because a bird, when it flies, it has no boundaries, it has no limitations. It's able to bring its message anywhere that it goes. And so we daven, we hope for shalom, peace. As the Medrash explains, shalom when we enter, which is shalom bayis, shalom of our own individual homes, our own individual communities, shalom b'yitziyascha, shalom when we leave our homes, peace beyond our small community, but in our surroundings, in our town, in our state, in our country, and ultimately shalom im kol adam, peace with every person, being able to look at every one of God's creations as being created b'tzelem Elokim, in the image of God, to contain the humanity and the godliness within each and every one of us, to represent the fact that we all have that which to contribute to the greater good and to the godliness that is necessary in our world.